Welcome back, family, to another episode of the Back Issue Book Club. I'm Greg, that's Rich.
Hey, what's up?
And this week we had a awesome series, The Last Ronin, 1 through 5. It's a mini-series from IDW and the TMNT crew, Kevin Eastman, Tom Waltz, I think, and a few other people I might be forgetting, but...
I did not read the director's cut, by the way. I just read the straight 1 through 5.
Me too.
Okay.
This was one of those books that was kind of hot when I first was getting into comics in, I don't remember, 2020 or 2021. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Last Ronin. And it looked really serious, and it kind of is. So... But I'm excited that we read this because it's gotten a lot of acclaim and people really enjoy the story. And now there's a new Last Ronin Lost Years, which I think goes into...
What he did up to?
Yes, while he was away, without trying to give too much away.
Yes.
But you've already read it. That's why you're here, to discuss with us. So,
yeah.
So, Last Ronin, books 1 through 5. What'd you think?
I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Good.
I really did. The whole first book of trying to figure out which turtle is this.
Yeah, because he's got the black bandana.
I would have bet money it was Raphael until I saw Raphael die.
Just because he's like the hardcore one?
Well, he is the hardcore one, but also he was the one that was least emotionally attached to his brothers, or at least didn't show it. So it would be ironic if he was the one that was haunted by his brothers.
Yeah.
So
That's true. I thought it was Leo.
Because he led them down the path?
Well, I just thought it was Leo because I always viewed Leo as the most disciplined. And maybe not skillful, but I don't know. I just thought he would be the one that is the best combination of offense, defense, and like the best of all worlds out of all of them. But
if you had asked me to put in order my guesses, Mikey would have been last.
And I think maybe that's why they did it, because he was always a goofball.
Yeah.
And the baby. Technically, I think he's the youngest, but I don't think there's much difference in age. But maybe that's why they did it, to give a new light to Mikey.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, he was definitely like hard boiled, as they say, and it was an interesting take how they. It turns out that he had been constantly mutating, to this day.
Yeah, the mutation never stopped.
Right. And after they said that, I don't know if it was just a design choice or not, but like when you were in the room with the other turtles and him, like when they were talking to him in his consciousness or whatever you want to call it, ghosts or whatever, they looked like, I remember them, normal, quote unquote, normal turtles. But when you look at him, he looks like he's aged because he's got more lines and definition like that, but also like behind his head and neck and stuff, he's got more like black spots and a little bit, I don't know, he's changing. It looked like he had changed compared to the other ones, so that I think that's part of him mutating further. Yeah,
and they never really touched base on, he's obviously not a teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle anymore, but would he be the equivalent of a 30-year-old, a 50-year-old? Because turtles live a lot longer than humans.
Yeah, especially the like Galapagos tortoises and stuff.
Especially the mutated ones.
Yeah. Well, and April said that he was getting Wolverine, healing much faster and quicker, and he was getting stronger, and so
he seemed to be like in his prime, not in like his 60s or 70s as we would think of.
Yeah. I guess there's a little mixed messaging there. Because he definitely like looked older, and by older I mean like old man or older.
Yeah.
So, who knows? The different books went. I think it kind of hit like each brother's death, and Splinter's, and they were impactful the way they were drawn and the way they happened and stuff like that. So especially like when they had Leonardo's katana with Casey's mask hanging from the, what do you call it? We were talking about this yesterday.
Hilt?
Yeah. But she had another word for it. Pommel.
Okay.
Either one.
I think pommel's correct, actually. So.
Hell yeah, dude.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they were very poignant at every like scene to show like the weaponry or an icon that relates to one of the characters that has passed now.
Right.
So I liked it. I thought it was tasteful.
What did you think of absorbing their mutations by years of being exposed to them?
Oh, April and Casey?
Yeah. By default, Casey, because she was pregnant with her.
Well, yeah. But April and Casey Jones both absorbed from being around the turtles, and then, yeah.
I didn't know it was something that was giving off a radioactive or... Yeah.
At one point, Mikey yells at her, and she's like, none of us knew. And I'm going to say that here. None of us knew, Richard.
Oh, fine. I'm sorry.
None of us knew.
Sorry.
And for all we know, it could have just been shit from the sewers. We don't know. They were in the sewers a lot.
New York City sewers, you know.
I can only imagine. I mean, I think it was... I don't know. I don't know what the point was to give Casey Mary... Was that her name? Casey Marie?
Casey Marie. Yeah.
I don't know what the point of giving Casey Marie powers was.
What were those powers? I didn't see any evidence of powers. I just saw a teenager that was somewhat well trained in, or self trained in. He got.
There
one.
was one time that was demonstrated to me. It is when, I think during the last part, when she goes to rescue her mom from the flooding water pumps.
Mm-hmm.
And they get through it, and then I think this is what happens. She sees Splinter's journal that Mikey leaves for her. Yeah. And then she gets pissed off because he's doing it alone or something. I don't know. She's pissed off, and she punches a corner of the sewer.
Yeah, and the concrete,
and it blows,
the bricks just
blows
go flying.
off. Yeah. And I was like, okay. Yeah, and April's like, you're going to hurt yourself. And that's when they argue about, when were you going to tell me, Mom? Tomorrow, next week, soon. I don't know. I didn't know what to do. None of us knew. And
yeah, tomorrow, never. I don't know.
Right, which is a really good. That's good writing to me because I feel like that's accurate.
Well, I think the only person that could actually write that would be a parent.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, as a parent, that I can absolutely see that conflict in your mind happening because you want to do what's best for them, but you also want to do what's right. And then you wrestle with that. Maybe what's right isn't what's best for them now, or maybe it is later. Or it's sticky. So,
yes, absolutely. The idea that he went into the mountains to try. First off, the idea of we must have peace. You know, the whole peace summit.
Mm-hmm.
Splinter seemed very... Once it was figured out that it was a trap, Splinter seemed very warlike.
I was surprised.
Yeah, they're like, come on, we got to retreat. No, I'm going to kill them now. Get off that horse, boy. I'm going to slice you down. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a sage old master.
The part that had me reacting, like you just said, doesn't sound like Splinter I know, was when he was back-to-back with Donnie. And he was like, no mercy, my son. Blood, go for blood or something like that. And I was like, damn, I've never heard Splinter talk like that in all the iterations that I've come across. So
it was very warmongerish, offensive. It was not... take a step back and think clearly. See
Yeah,
the
right.
situation, look for a peaceful solution.
It was Hatfields and McCoys, or what's the Romeo and Juliet ones?
Capulets and the
Romulans.
no, I swear to God that came into my head too when I kept my mouth shut. Montagues.
Montague. The Sharks and the Jets.
Wow, we both thought Romulans. I swear.
I'm guessing it's because our brains linked to Romeo and Juliet. Romulans. What are Romulans? Is that Star Trek or Star Wars?
Yeah, Romulans, Klingons, Federation. There's another one.
So maybe that's Anyway, high five.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was weird though. Out of character, it seemed like. But maybe I guess they're trying to say that he's been effed so hard for so long by Shredder that he was like, we gotta cut this head off.
His descendant and his descendant and
yeah. So.
Yeah, I knew that when Mikey showed up at the camp and asked what happened to Splinter, and the first word said, well, he was, blah, blah,
There
blah,
you
like
go.
he was.
Yep.
Yeah, it's past tense. He gone.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, that was another thing about the mutation. He mutated enough to allow him to survive the cold as a cold-blooded animal.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know if it did that, or did he just like go into hibernation until it warmed up?
that's true, because he was like, I don't remember if it was days, weeks, months, whatever. I just emerged once the spring came.
Yeah, and I think turtles and some crocodiles, a lot of reptiles will go into a hibernative state during the cold.
Yep, there's a frog I know of that.
Personally?
Yeah, Remy. His
Okay.
name's Remy. He lives down in Kentucky. But when it gets sub 32, no, I'm just kidding. But there is a breed of frog that will allow itself to basically freeze over, and like its heart stops and everything.
Yeah.
And then like it literally thaws out and comes back to life, quote unquote. So
It's like a complex life form with a bacteria mentality.
yeah, that's true.
So we have to remember that as we're going and exploring other planets, we might find something that, oh, look at this fossil, bring it onto the spaceship. And I don't know if you ever watched the movie Life. That was scary, man.
Well, I think the book Andromeda Strain is kind of about that too, like a piece of bacteria on an asteroid or something.
Yeah.
Sweet Tooth, go digging in Antarctica. We don't even have to leave Earth.
Yeah.
Friggin' thing. All right. So let's see. April O'Neil, all Mad Maxy with the missing arm and leg.
Yep.
That was
Really good technology for somebody that, I could get past the arm and the leg, but when she said that I had a lot of spare time and she built that ATV, I'm like, really?
so that made sense to me because I have done the IDW comics run.
Yeah.
She's not just a reporter in that run. She works for Baxter Stockman in like science shit. So
Okay.
she's all up in like technology. She's like Donnie basically. So she has that background already.
I assume that somebody else gave her a hand getting all the equipment and engine and tires and everything down into the sewers.
Stop.
No.
Okay, keep going.
So then,
No,
then he
that's
swung by Kentucky and they had some frog legs. So,
no. I mean that's a good point. I guess maybe Casey with her strength.
maybe her crew.
That's true. Mr. T was a part of it. Did you see that one panel? The guy looked just like Mr. T.
Yeah. I pitted a fool.
Right. What else? I kept thinking in my head when this guy was like, "I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god." Where's
Yeah.
like the U.S. Army or like I don't know federal entities? I don't know.
Breakdown of all civilization. You're not going to elect those people.
It must have been, yeah. And they talked about how they were building a wall around the city to protect it from the ocean, but it's probably just to
Keep people in.
right. So I don't know. Just a thought that passed in my mind. Let's see. Baxter was like a weird cyborg.
Yeah, is that a character? Because again, I had never read a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So.
Baxter Stockman is one of the main human adversaries of the Turtles.
Okay. And it reminded me of the High Evolutionary a bit there when he pulled the mask off.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, he's the one who creates the Mausers and all of that robot technology that they fight all the time.
I don't read this stuff. So what exactly is a Mauser other than a small little droid that can explode?
It's traditionally it's like an angry metal duck. Basically,
Okay,
is the best
great from video games.
Basically, the way is the best way I can describe it, or an angry metal chicken. It's always like chomp 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 chomp, and it runs on two legs, and they're called Mausers. Yeah, it's what's on the cover of that of number 2 or 3. It's like a big metal beak on the cover of that. Dang, I gotta find it now.
Okay,
You're gonna recognize it when you see it. You'll be like, oh, it's like the very blue and white one.
The one with the minivan on it?
TMNT number 2, maybe. Yeah, it's number 2. Do you recognize?
Oh, is it? I've seen that. I had no idea what the hell I was looking at.
So that's like the face of the Mauser, basically. That's the chomping jaws. The rest of the body is to the left of.
I just thought it was a big hunk of metal. I didn't know it was even something that was supposed to be animate.
I totally get you. I've done that to so many covers where I just like recognize a piece of it, and then I step back and look at it one day. I'm like, oh, that's like a thing. You would have no way of knowing that that's what that was unless you knew what a Mauser was. So there you go.
Right. Okay. Come back, unshare. There you are.
So Baxter Stockman, yeah, he makes all this technology that ends up, going against the Turtles. He hates the Turtles. In this run of IDW, I believe it's his lab where the Turtles are, where the Turtles and other mutants are created, and they break out from. That's how April is like an intern with Baxter, and he's like such a dick to her, but she's like trying to make it, so she keeps working there. And eventually he becomes the mayor of New York City, and she's like his aide, and then she gets sick of him and breaks off and starts being like a guerrilla reporter, and that's like where the reporter part comes in. But all the while she's like an excellent like biochemist, physicist kind of thing. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
And in the long run, it's kind of like the technology versus ninja, old-fashioned fighting with hand weapons. It's like Empire versus Ewoks almost.
Yeah. If the Ewoks had like blades.
Well, they got clubs.
Yeah.
They got logs.
And they yell. Oh, no, I almost said Utini. That's the wrong little species.
It's Martini. No.
Utini. Jawas.
Yes.
What else? Let's see.
What about Mikey telling his brothers, okay, that's it. I'm tired of seeing you. Go away.
Yeah. Well, they interrupted a lot. They were in his head a lot throughout all the books, and always questioning him, and I think they were exaggerated versions of themselves. Because at one point Leo was like, "How could you do that?" or something judgmental that Leo would never.
But it's the what do you call it? Mikey would no matter what Leo would say, that's what Mikey would kind of hear in his head.
Right. Just like all of us do.
Yeah.
You hear the words, but you receive them and then you internalize them, and it's possible that you can twist them. So.
Oh, I mean, it's just like most wives do to us. Like, oh, you look really nice today. So you're saying that I don't look nice every other day? I didn't say that.
Here's an example of me twisting things in my head. She'll say, "Oh, thanks," and I'll be like, "Oh, she didn't react the way I thought she would. She must not want to have sex. She was." I have my own TMNT crew behind me now, giving me feedback in my head. So accurate writing. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to. I am curious. We didn't have any of the other villains like Krang, the brain-looking guy in the robot stomach, or Leatherhead, the Croc, or the rhinoceroses. I forget what they're called. Not rhinoceros.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Bebop and Rocksteady. Yeah. Or
they're the only ones that I remember.
yeah, and
Thank you, Vanilla Ice.
I can't do that. I'm choking.
I think that those were created with the intention, for the purpose of getting rid of the turtles. Were they not?
Yeah, Shredder created them.
So if they believe the turtles are gone, and now these are the only mutants, disgusting creatures left, we should get rid of them too.
That's true. That's a good point.
Now, what was with the robot Twiggy, whatever, was that the one that they were trying to revive?
Oh, Honeycutt. Yeah.
Yeah, who that guy?
I'm trying to remember. He's in the IDW run, at least, and I remember that he was helping them, but
Was he also a robot in that?
Yeah, that's what he looked like. What he looked like there. There was an arc where they went to another dimension, and I think that's where they found Honeycutt, and he came back with them.
Okay.
So he was like a brilliant scientist robot because he was in an advanced dimension or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think, if memory serves, I think that's what it was. So I think maybe Baxter Stockman found a way to like sort of enslave him and always track him, like they were talking about.
He was. I guess he wanted to try to utilize his technology from another dimension.
Right. I think so.
And Honeycutt realizing, no, that's the bad guy. I'm going to team up with the turtles.
Right. And so he was pissed off when he got animated and blew up Baxter into a million pieces. It was great.
Yeah, what was with the nanotechnology that went everywhere? Was that supposed to be Honeycutt?
I think that was what was holding Baxter together.
Okay.
So when he like blew them apart, it just sent them. I don't know exactly. It's my guess.
Okay. The only other thing that I wanted to make mention about this book, which I liked it, and I didn't see it coming, the last page of Splinter's journal, where he wrote down "no peace" as a warning, saying, this is a fake peace talk, and Mikey at the very end changed it. You see him. He instead of it saying "no peace," he added the letters K and W to make it no, as in please, no peace now.
Yeah.
It's over.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, there was one point where Casey Marie was like, "What does this mean? No peace." And I was like, "Can't you read English?" No, I'm kidding.
Your sensei left it for you.
She asked him, "What does this mean?" He was like, "It means I have to do what I have to do," or whatever, one-liner thing.
Yeah.
The battles were pretty good. I was thinking back to his final battle with T-1000, and I like the idea of like playing defense and letting your enemy tire themselves out and figuring out, what their weaknesses are. But I also like the idea that he did that and it wasn't working, so he had to improvise even more.
Right. The rope-a-dope didn't work as well as he had hoped.
Right. And it was kind of savage how the guy was like, Mikey was like, "I'm going to end you and your family," and he was like, and just killed his mom right there in the
yeah.
What do you call that thing in Star Wars? The chamber.
Oh, the back to tank. It's funny because I actually didn't think back to tank. I was thinking of Mr. Freeze's wife.
Oh,
from Batman.
That too.
But yeah, when he does damage the armor slightly on his shoulders, like, you scratched my armor. Oh, no, never mind. It's fine.
Yeah, it just goes and seals itself back up. So.
Speaking of the fight scenes, now, again, I never read a TMNT book. Going into this, I was under the impression that the artwork was going to be substandard. It was not. It was not by a long shot. I really enjoyed the artwork.
Me too. And it was pretty violent at points. I think at the peace talks where we were talking about Splitter, there was one where he was like, there was one panel where he was like already done the move, but in behind there were 3 decapitated men.
I think 2 were decapitated, and I think one of them actually had his head cut in the middle.
Oh, Jesus. Well.
And I'm like, okay, because I think it was inside the bucket helmet.
Oh, yeah.
So the helmet was cut in the middle of it. I'm like,
shit.
Whoa. Okay, didn't even take the path of least resistance on that one.
Yeah. So there was that. There was, he would leave a trail of Foot Clan, bloodied and broken, going up staircases. And I was like, whoa. This is, even the regular IDW run's not that violent from what I remember. Which was, it's fine. It didn't bother me. I was just surprised by it.
Well, we're molding your consciousness to be able to handle the Punisher.
Yeah.
So, anything else, or we want to wrap it up and give it our ratings?
Yeah, I think it's ratings time.
All right. You first or me first?
I'll go first. I'll give it a 9.
That's really, really high praise. We don't give those numbers very often.
And I might be a little biased because I love me some turtles.
Soup.
You're the one drinking from a big soup bowl, not me.
Not anymore. That coffee is empty.
Oh. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a really mature mature version of an end of the Turtles that could be.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I thought the art was like really, really, really good throughout. And I thought they used Kevin Eastman's drawing appropriately. They were always during like flashbacks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with the young baby face looking turtles and stuff like that.
Well, that and like when he was talking about, I walked into the mountains and this and when it was all black and white usually.
Right.
So that was cool. A nice way to bring him into the fold. I thought the story was solid. All of our complaints were mostly just nitpicks.
They are.
So, yeah, I thought it was cool. It was impactful. I felt things when I was reading it. Happy, sad, bummed when you saw like how they died and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll give it a solid 9.
All right. I'm actually going to go about an 8 to an 8.5. I liked it a lot. I wouldn't put it up into the 9 category, but I'm a harsher reviewer than you are. Mm-hmm. It's the first story that I've ever read with the Turtles, and I don't think it'll be my last. This has thrown open a door to something I really like.
Yeah.
I think the best way for me to describe it is if you are somebody in my age bracket, the 50s, that a long time ago read the Wolverine limited series and had a vision in your mind of what it was, and recently reread it like we did in our back issue book club.
Okay.
About how, and saw, wow, that's not as good as I remembered. This is actually kind of horrible. Go read Ronin. This will be what you thought you remembered Wolverine to be.
I love that. Wow. Yeah.
The amount of text and writing was the perfect amount. It read quickly, but at the same time, you felt like you were not just skimming over pictures. I like skimming over pictures and having it tell a story, but I like the announcing the marriage.
I had to. You brought it up. Yeah, it was a really good balance of everything.
Yeah. And it was in that flavor of the Wolverine story from the 1982 limited series. So If you have not read Ronin from IDW, I highly recommend it. I'm going to stick with the solid 8.5 on it.
Awesome. Yeah.
I have to reserve those 9s and above for that. I was like, oh my God, I can't sleep. I have to go reread it again book.
Totally fair.
But I'm not going to pick on you for giving it a 9 because it's right at that level.
And now this makes me really want to go read the Lost Years too. So now that we've done that, we are coming to this coming week's book that we're going to be reading. It is going to be the first Reckless book from Image Comics.
Okay.
And
when did this come out?
there are 5 books. The first one came out in 2020, and it's a graphic novel, so it's 140 odd pages or something like that.
Okay.
But there's 5 different graphic novels that are like under the Reckless umbrella. So the first one's called Reckless, and then there are 4 more that have their own titles, but it'll say like a Reckless book.
Okay, I gotcha.
But we're just doing the first one.
So why do we have to read this book?
This was suggested by Tiago, our patron.
So they get to tell us what to do?
No duh.
All right. Well, how does that all work?
Well, every once in a while, we either have a poll or just I throw up a question saying, hey, what do you guys want us to read next? And y'all tell us.
So people that join our Patreon can actually guide the channel.
Yeah. But
I feel like this is a really cheap commercial, you know?
But
people that can join our Patreon can actually guide our channel?
we just need you in black and white and being like, huh? But they know this. They're on the Patreon already.
This is a back issue book club, though. This goes out on our podcast.
You're right. I forgot. Great job.
Thank you.
So, yeah, Tiago suggested this on our Patreon, which is only $3 a month, for you to have access to polls, suggestions, get-togethers,
Additional content. Free comic books.
Yes, we have a promotion going on. There's still 4 slots for the awesome Vanish variants that were so generously provided by Stinker Buns to the channel. One of which is a 1 in 100, a 1 in 50, and a couple 1 in 25s and foils and such.
Vatabargan.
A toboggan? I got a toboggan. And then furthermore, we've got Greg's PP box, Patreon pull box, where we're very soon here. Next week, we're going to start our first pull box session where you tell me, every patron gets a free book from me from my pull box down here, and you just tell me a number from the front or the back, and I'll go to it, I'll pull it out, put it in a Gemini mailer, and ship it to you on me. Totally free, just for being a patron, and as a thank you. I added a book today to the pull box.
Ooh, what'd you add? Serious?
Very beautiful copy of Spider-Man 1.
Yes. The McFarlane, that's at 1991, right?
No, I don't know.
Now, hold that book up again real quick for people that are actually watching this on the Back Issue Book Club on YouTube. Now, imagine that with a Stan Lee signature. That's the one that CBCS lost.
You know what? I'm okay with it. Fuck CBCS.
Uh-oh.
You'll learn about
The honeymoon is over.
You'll learn about that later on another video.
The honeymoon is over.
A lot of bleeps. Anyway, you can find...
We won't be able to monetize that one.
I'll bleep them, so we can. It's okay.
Okay.
The thumbnail for that is just going to be the emoji that's like red with like the black bar and the characters on it.
Yeah.
But you can find that book and many more, which I've been posting one a day on Instagram just to give you an idea what's in the box of what's in there. So it's not just, fillers, but you're going to have all kinds of stuff in there. And even if it is a filler, it's free. So
yes.
And
don't even have to pay for shipping.
yeah, and you get a free Gemini mailer, so you can use it to ship. So
yeah,
it's hard to buy those. It's hard to buy those, which you came up with a good idea of going in together with people to offset the cost. So
yeah.
But anyway, we're excited for it. I hope you guys join up. It's really affordable, and you get, I think, a good bang for your buck.
And if you're seeing this on YouTube, don't forget to click like and subscribe and click on those notifications so we know when more videos come out.
Yeah. Until we see you guys in the next one. Mahalo.